Hey everyone, this is Matt from drawingtutorialsonline.com. We are back with another live stream. It has been a while for sure, but we're back here today and I look forward to drawing with you. And yeah, it's just going to be a really fun, chill session. I started my summer semester at my website, drawingtutorialsonline.com, so I have been drawing. And it's been a lot of fun for sure. So welcome everybody who's joining me here today. All right, so without further ado, why don't we just start with a warm-up? Because trust me, I need it. I need the warm-up. So let me switch my camera here. And let's go here. So we're gonna try to draw this gal today. Now, here's my little warm-up sketch. I just did this like 5 minutes before the live stream, and I'm glad that I did it because I noticed a lot of things that I'm going to talk about, what you should be looking for. So with that being said, let's just start the warm-up, and let me give like a mark as to where the top of my sheet of paper is on the video screen and the bottom. So if you've been with me before, you know that I love to do these ovals as my warm-up. Now this really pertains a little bit more towards figure drawing. However, it's just a motion that we're just trying to loosen up, and we're trying to not be in chicken scratch mode. And for those of you who are new here, just join me. Chicken scratch is when you constantly lift your pencil up off of the paper every 1/10 of a second. So I think, this is a nice counterbalance to that. And then what I really like to do is I also like to do these ellipses that wrap around each oval, and this kind of makes it a little bit more three-dimensional, and this gets me in the mindset of a little bit more line of action and connection lines. All right, so then after I do that stacked ovals, then what I like to do after that is just one side of the oval. And this is how, when I teach gesture drawing at the School of Visual Arts, I will teach the students to go from left to right, from left to right, from left to right, down the body. And obviously it's not going to be equal lengths here to these lines. Like you can do, a little one. Let me make sure this is on the camera. And let me get a piece of scrap paper here. And let me get also a piece of tape. So yeah, for sure. Like you could just do like a little one, like a little letter C, and then a long gesture, a long line of action, or a long connector. And that is just something that is very, very beneficial for you. It's just a loosening up. I'm not asking you to, change the way that you draw. And, some people like to draw with the chicken scratch line, and that's okay. This is just better for quick gestures. And it's better all around, in my opinion, because it just enables you to see the bigger picture with big long lines versus always drawing small. Okay, now the last thing that I could do with the warm-up is just, I never do this with a curved line. I guess I'm doing it with a curved line today, is I'll just draw a weird shape like that. And then I will try to draw the identical shape right next to it. And let's see if I crash and burn here. Oh, I totally crash and burn. So, full disclosure here, I don't have my likeness factor going on. I'm going to do one more shape, but I'm going to fight through it because that's what we do. We fight through it, right? And it's just all practice. If you can just tell yourself that, that's a good mindset to be in. That is just all practice. All right, that's still not that shape, but it's better. It's better. I'm not going to complain. All right, now let's go over what I drew here and talk about some things that you could do before. Let's say you're going to start a drawing, right? And it's your Saturday afternoon and you want to draw, and you are devoting like 2 to 3 hours to completing a drawing. I think it would be fabulous for you to just take like 10 minutes or even 5 minutes. This literally took me like 5 minutes to do. And to just do like a quick sketch of your subject matter very, very fast and just go through it. So, like, I went through it here and then down the forehead, and then I came down the eye socket area to the cheekbone, and I did my angles, and my first measure line was like, hey, what's right below the brow bone? Okay, so they're kind of almost right above and below one another. Perhaps this could be in ever so slightly, but kind of not really. And then one tact that you could take is you could just draw where the hair touches the skin, and you can go to the jawbone very lightly over here on the mandible and then down to the chin. So you can do that, and that's cool. The next thing that I did and what I looked out for is this perspective of everything. So the eyebrows are tilted, the eyes are tilted, the bottom of the nose is tilted. So we're looking for this, and then corner to the lip, that's tilted too. Now, what I like to do, and it syncs up with what I did right there, is I don't like to necessarily do these lines straight, but I like to do these lines, these perspective lines, curving. So the eyelashes are curving around the head, the upper lower lip where they meet is curving, where the nose is on the face, that's curving, and even the bottom of the chin, because we're looking up at the underplane of this chin area, even that is curving. So this is something that you could play with when you draw along with me here today. And then other things that you want to look for, like this is ginormously important. It's going from like the cheekbone to the edge of the nose. Like how wide is that distance? And if you miss this distance, the whole drawing is going to be mucked up. So this is something that you really want to look for. Okay. And the other thing that you also want to look for is, oh, goodness gracious, look, the tip of our model's nose is touching the lower eyelid, the cast shadow that the lower eyelid is casting on the cheek. And so what that's telling me is the nose is really short because we're looking up at. And that is something that you just want to observe before you commit. So Carmela is here. Welcome. Hi, Aura. That's okay. I got the replay up there. It was a good class. We missed you, absolutely. And Gentled Ove, Artness, India, nice. Awesome. And then Visky, nice. So this is, welcome everybody. This is something that you've got to look at when you're drawing our model today. So you've got to look at the tip of the nose, the top of the tip of the nose on this lash, or cast shadow of the lower lid, I should say. And then, these perspective lines going up, and then other distances like the edge of the eyebrow to the edge of the hair. Other distances, like look at how close the corner of the lips, the corner of the mouth is to the edge of our model's face. So I know this looks like one big hot mess right now, but it's just a preliminary warm-up. It's just a big sketch, a quick sketch, I should say. And this is what you might want to do. Again, let's say you have 3 hours to draw, and your time is very limited. This is very important for you to maybe do this before and take 5 to 10 minutes. In my drawing class at the School of Visual Arts, the first 20 minutes is just a warm-up. Like we do 10 2-minute drawings. Now I'm going to switch papers, and I'm going to start to draw here so I don't put you all asleep. So I've got just generic Strathmore 400 series white drawing paper. And actually, you know what? Let me just put it on top of what I've already got here. Bear with me. I'm just going to tape this down. And so if I put my hand there, I'm kind of like right in the middle. Okay, good. And is this level and plumb? Not yet. Okay, now let me tape this down. And then we'll start to draw. All right? And then you can laugh at me when I crash and burn, and it'll be all good. All right, so I've got my tape. I've got my white paper. just be sure that when you are drawing with the white paper that you're using the right side of the Strathmore 400 series. This is absolutely my favorite pad. Well, no, this is the Tone Tan, and there's Tone Gray too. I like that too. But the Strathmore 400 series I really like. Now, you know what? I didn't add myself here. I think some people like when I do that. Let me see. And let me try to make this a little bit smaller. Okay. I guess that's good enough right there. And then maybe I'll move it in the middle as we progress through the drawing. Okay, so we're 10 minutes in. I really need to get to drawing here, so let's do this. So once again, I need to mark where my video camera ends. So it's about there. It's about here. And I will zoom in and eventually, and then that's the left side of my video camera, and that is the right side. So my live area, how big is this live area? Because a couple people have been asking me on my Zoom classes. So basically that's about 6.5 inches long, which is not long at all. And that's about 6.5 inches, 6 inches across. Okay, now what about the portrait? I want to do sight size. So she's about 3 from her chin to the very tippy top of her head is almost 3.5 inches. So I want to be mindful of that. Okay, let's get started. So what I'm going to do first is just, let's see, forehead. Now, if you go too slow and you're afraid to make a mistake like in the beginning, it's going to be a nightmare. So sometimes you just got to go like a little faster and let the cards fall where they may. So I'm getting like the top of the forehead, the front plane of the forehead, and then I'm going to curve down the eye socket, and then we curve to the zygomatic bone. We just did a skull lesson on my website for the summer semester. We started that. So we're going around the eye socket, zygomatic bone, aka cheekbone, and then like that's right up above from one another. And then I'm going to go down this model's cheek area to the chin. Okay. So the first thing I want to do is I want to get the angle of our model's eyebrows. And I'm doing that like going around. Okay, I think that's very important. And I want to get the tilt down of, wow, that eyebrow is very high. So I'm going to get this eyebrow. I promise you I'll zoom in once I get it laid out to get a sense of the size for the video. Right now I get you, it's like a little small. I could probably even zoom in right now. I want to thank you all for joining me here today. And it should be fun. It should be fun. Okay, so look at what I've got so far. I've got the forehead, 2 angles. I've got the very tippy top of the forehead. Now I'm doing this thing in perspective. I'm doing this in perspective, but I'm curving around the eyebrows. Okay, and then the next thing that I could do is I could suggest the eyelash. And what I'm doing here is from eyebrow to eyelash. And then I'm going to suggest, and I'm going to go across, and I'm going to connect to the other eyelash. Okay, that's helpful. So then I might come over here to the edge of our model's hair. Okay, and just get where the hair touches the face. And then what I'm going to do, this is cast shadow. And then I'm going to go to the model's mandible, the jawbone. This is that masseter muscle. Helps you chew right there. How wide is that from here to here? Okay. And now don't go all the way across over here with your line. Just a little suggestion of the bottom of the jaw. And then the chin is going to curve like that. So I'm trying to be a little bit looser. You can see over here, this is very tight with the angles, and that almost looks to me like even the wrong angle. Should be like a little less severe. And this should be shorter. Okay, I don't want to get too into the weeds just yet. So, all right, we've got some angles, which some people hate, some people love. We've got some more of a curvy connection gestural style line. And we framed out the face. Now, what we could do next is we could just suggest the top of our model's hair. So this will help with proportions for sure. So now we angle down, and our model, since we're looking up at our model, right? So the hair is kind of foreshortened a little bit. Plus, it's like pin straight hair, so it's not like above the model's skull so much. It's kind of pretty flat. And so it's not going to be that far above the head. Like, you don't want to put it all the way up here. You're really looking at this distance. Now, mind you, look at the distance, say, from the edge of the shape of the hair, the width of the blonde hair over here. And then compare that width to this width. This is so much wider. Now, don't press down hard yet. Don't commit to the hardest line. Don't go so dark. I'm just using my Color-Ace pencil today. You could use graphite. You could use anything. It doesn't really matter. This is just like a black colored pencil that I enjoy drawing with, and it's cool. It's not the best pencil for everybody. It could destroy your hand if you're shading for hours because you got to press down really hard. So yeah, all right. Let me just make sure that I'm not missing anything here on the chat. No, we're good. Okay, so just a little ear placement. So it doesn't need to be perfect. It's just a suggestion right now. That's kind of like a target. And then we go back to the jaw. Look at the distance from the bottom of the ear. That's angled down to the jaw where it kind of angles. And then you should, this seems a little too long for me. I'm not pressing down hard. I don't want to commit. You should just suggest that neck. And this is our SCM muscle coming from the mastoid process behind the ear to the pit of the neck. Okay, so that's our first go through. Now, what I could do for you all, and I'm going to just, you got to bear with me for like a few seconds here. I want to move my sheet of paper over to the left, okay? So I'm going to move both sheets of paper over to the left, the one that is below also. And I just want to make sure that my paper is level and plumb. A big shout out to Shane, who's a member of my website. I recently did the Tahoe update on my Mac Mini. And right after I did that, my Cintiq that I've had for like 10 years, my Q27 HD screen became incompatible. I'm like, really? You've got to be kidding me. I'm like, okay, fine. It's 10 years old. It would cost me a lot of money. I got my money's worth out of it, like tenfold. But I still like to use it. And it's my drawing table because it's so massive. So Shane helped me, and the solution was to download an older driver. The hardest part of doing that was to find the driver. It was kind of hidden on Wacom's website. So Shane, thank you so much. Hey, Rick, welcome. Rick, this is going to be a good one because you're going to watch me like crash and burn here today. So first impressions of what I've done. I don't want to judge, but it feels a little wide. It feels a little wide. So my angles are not going to be correct. Although the last couple drawings that I've done for my members when we've had our Zoom classes, I've drawn pretty good. All right, so just move that cheek in a little bit. And so now we just need to start. And, you know, no more procrastination. Let's just get the eyebrows in. So I'm going to get this eyebrow lightly, just suggesting it. Look at the distance in between these eyebrows. Okay. And this eyebrow really flares up. Now, I know I could just judge it because this is the way that I draw. I draw through like comparing. So I'm a little tall. So I said she was about 3.5 inches tall. Bear with me, people. Yes. So from the hair to the chin, I'm too long by about 1/4 of an inch. And yeah, does it need to be exact? No. Is it easier when you kind of draw the same size as the photo? For me, it is. I can't speak for you. So when I draw from photos in my studio, I really like to do site size. When I'm working with a live model in the classroom, obviously I don't do site size. I'm working on, I usually draw them about 14 inches tall, like full figure, sometimes 15. Should be 16. That's when you're really drawing with your arm. Okay, so now I'm getting the inside of the bridge of the nose, the nasal bone. And then what did we say? We said, be careful. We've got this nose and the tip of our model's nose here is at the cast shadow of the lower lid. So this nose thing, the natural tendency is to draw that too long. We need to shorten that up. Now, also, people, look at the distance between the edge of the nose and the edge of the cheekbone. And there's angles right near the nostril. Okay. Now, don't go too slow, because if you go too slow, you're going to overanalyze, you're going to crash and burn, and you're going to overthink it. You just put some marks down. You need something to compare. And then what do we also say, like in the warm-up? Wow, the corner of the mouth is really close to the edge of the face, and the lip line that separates the upper lip from the lower lip, it's not straight. It's totally curving around, but it needs to go into perspective tilt. Okay, so I'm going to curve this around so I'm getting the other corner of the mouth. And then I don't outline the lower lip. I put the shadow under the lower lip, above the chin. And then maybe now I'm going to raise the bottom of my chin. And I just took like a little size off of the height of this model. So now, okay, so that's a good way to just kind of map this out, especially for me struggling a little bit. Now, I usually like to have like a super sharp pencil, but at this early stage of the game, I'm going to keep it a little bit dull because I'm going to draw softer, and I like to, oh my God, my forearm is just like so tense. Stay young, people, stay young. Getting old sucks. Everything on your body is just, I did not treat my body well when I was younger. Sitting in a chair for 10 hours a day painting is just worse than smoking. For sure, and nothing against you smokers, God bless. So yeah, but sitting is just awful, and I used to sit for hours. So look at what I'm doing. I am not drawing, and it destroyed me. I am not drawing a round eye. I am drawing an abstract shape of the model's lash connected to the iris, connected to the cast shadow, and that is just all one big shape. Okay, and now I should put a piece of paper here because I can feel my hand. It's 91, going to be 91 degrees. Okay, time out. I just need to get like a little piece of paper to put over here so this paper doesn't absorb any moisture from my hand and it doesn't start to buckle. Hold on. I drew this one the other day for my students. This was quick. This was like 20, 25 minutes. And it was more about surface planes. We were getting a little bit more technical with that one. It was fun. Today, I don't want to be technical. Today, I just want to draw and try to do something somewhat pretty. Okay, so let's put that down there. Now, I have a link in the description of this video if you're interested in joining DTO for the summer semester. It's like 3 months. It's probably less than 3 months, actually. Yeah, it's a one-time flat fee, no subscription. You should check that out. All right, so we're back here. So now I'm digging the way this looks. It's fine. It looks cool. And I like the placement of the nose. And then we've got the ball of the tip of the nose here. And then it angles down. And then I'm fairly satisfied with the distance from here to here. And so we've got the angle of the nose, and then down it angles like that. So I'm going to just do a little shading on the side of the orbital bone, the eye socket. And then I'm going to also do like a little, this is a ball, her eyelid. It's kind of like an oval. So I've got that, and my goodness gracious, her eyebrow is higher, like that. Um, Now I could just do a little bit of that eye there. Um, Now, normally when I do this, I know if I have the likeness immediately. I don't think I have the likeness. Today's gonna be like a little bit of a fight. Now, a couple people are like, "Why do you keep talking about the likeness? Why do you like? It's a good drawing. Just let it go." But everybody has their reasons for drawing, and I just always love the challenge of likeness. It's what makes it interesting to me. Anybody can draw anything, but likeness is hard, and I always use that as my measuring tool as to whether or not I'm in practice or out of practice, and that's the reason why I usually talk about it so much. Um, Hey, yes, okay. Any questions, let me know, people. So now I don't want to get stuck here. I want to go across to the other eye, and this lash is higher than that lash, and the distance from this lash to the top of that eyebrow is high. Wow. Okay, so let's see here. So we have this inside of the bridge of the nose, the nasal bone, and then it's shaded here. And then it's side plane light. That's pretty much the nasal bone inside of the eye socket area. And then we have the cast shadow here that the eyeball is casting on the inside of the eye socket, the side of the nasal bone area. Okay, we got a little tear duct here. And that tear duct is higher than that eye. Cool. So this is the way that I like to draw is I just use pretty much common sense comparative analysis. Like I'm analyzing and I'm comparing. I'm analyzing and I'm comparing. The downside to that is that if you don't draw all the time, you lose that touch. It's a perishable skill, right? So if you're going to take some time off, just understand that. Don't get frustrated. Um, that's your choice, and so you're going to have to take some time to get that eye-hand coordination back up to speed. Okay, so got the good and lower eyelid, good, and the eye. I'm just going to make this soft. I shouldn't be doing too much in the ways of detail. Just like that. And this, let's go around her eyeball. Yeah, this is shaded. Gonna raise this still. And what I need to do is I have her looking in the wrong direction. I just want to put the kibosh on that like immediately. Good, good, good. And now we have a little tone over here, which is, it's basically the inside as your edge of your eye socket, your orbital bone turns. It's right there, and this is the edge of your eye socket, that highlight. So I'm going to move from the eye. It's not 100% correct, but I'm going to move from it just so I don't get too caught up. I'm going to put some tone here on our model's forehead. This brow bone turns under. Good. And Okie dokie. So we have this. So I need to move away from there because I need to get like a little bit more context to everything. So I'm going to just do a couple of other lines. And I think this whole cheekbone thing is much shorter. Okay, now I'm going to go around where I feel. So, all right, let's see. We've got tear duct. We've got this little shape here that I don't want to go too crazy with in terms of values. I want to keep it light, and then I'm going to go here. I'm looking at this distance. And that's the nose lobe. Okay, so I'm going to just come on down with the center of the nose right there. And that's just a cylinder. I'll put that down there. And maybe I'm just going to shade this side of the nose. I'm not too concerned yet with the nostrils. A little tone right there. Don't overdo that area. And now what I think I need to do is place the lips. She's hard to draw for sure. Good challenge. Good challenge. And I'm gonna just do a little bit on this lower lip. Man, it's I can feel it's getting hot. Even though my AC is cranking, it's already probably like in the 80s. And chin. I'm just looking at some of the shapes on the nose. Excuse me. And I could have the nose like a little bit too big. So I'm going to just do like a little bit of shading here on the lip, straight up and down, straight up and down, straight up and down. Because that I need that shape, because I draw better when I look at shapes. And then I am going to just do like a little tone on the lower lip, under the lower lip, front plane of the chin, and the bottom of the chin is a reflected light. And so I'm going to raise this up, which will get the head to be a little bit closer to the 3.5 inches high. And so this just cruises into the throat area. We have this little area here. And let me move this sheet of paper. So that is my first go through. So impressions, I need to do a little bit more with the nose. The nose feels very, very big to me. So how we doing here on YouTube? Let's see. Time out. Any questions? Any questions? Anything, like sometimes when you tell me, Matt, that's too big, that's too long, don't be afraid to let me know like your opinion of my drawing. Sometimes that really helps me, because you're seeing things like I'm getting caught up talking, and so sometimes I will lose sight of something that is so obvious. Like the last drawing that I did, I drew the head like too wide, and somebody said something. I'm like, oh, damn, I should have seen that. Okay, so now this gal's hair is very short. This is cast shadow into the ear. Long line of action. And then I want to put like a little tone over here, because this is just going to act like a frame. Yeah, everything is not right. But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. This is just called practice. Um, okay, so I could. What time is it? We've only been doing this for like 20 minutes. Um, maybe a little bit longer, like maybe 22, 23 minutes, because we did a warm up. And I think I talked for like 10 minutes. So, first impressions, she feels a little wide in my particular drawing. Um, Nothing really feels correct. So, when you're in this situation and you're drawing, you just need to kind of like don't get discouraged, don't give up, don't start over, but just keep kind of making little subtle adjustments. And that's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm going to start over again. And I am going to put like a little bit of a tone over here. I think that's going to help me. Because again, like I said, I like to draw with shapes. And I am going to shade and reestablish this edge line. And yes, I am going to put a little bit of tone over here because I think that tone will sincerely help me with the overall proportions. Okay, hate to say anything. I know you have to adjust your perspective to stay out of the camera. Oh, is my head in the camera? Humdinger. You let me know, Humdinger, what you meant. Go like be more specific. Is my head in the camera? Okay, so let's see. We got this eyebrow. You know, you have to be realistic with yourself. If you're going to take a little time off from serious drawing, oh, okay, good, good, good. If you're going to take a little time off from serious drawing time, you have to be realistic with what's going to happen when you come back. Okay, thank you, Carmela. And so, like, I'm not going to, like, get overly bent out of shape that I'm struggling. And it's just part of the game. So that's a great question, Kim. So basically, what helps me to prevent the tunnel vision thing are these initial lines that we did um, earlier. So basically, it's like I'm doing this curve around, Kim. Like I'm doing that. I'm doing the long perspective line over here. I could also use an ellipse line to curve around. So it's really those initial lines. And then what I also, man, this is not right. The nose is just way too big. What I also do, Kim, is periodically, like I won't allow myself to work on like one eye for too long. And then I'll move because I know that I'm going to start getting like that tunnel vision. So it's those two things from what I can say right now. It's that you need to start the drawing with connection lines where I'm connecting the eyebrows, and then you need to constantly move around your drawing like you're on a merry-go-round. Like you're just moving around. You're not getting stuck in one area. You're moving. You're moving. And so it's nothing really more than that. It's just that you need to be conscious of that and not forget that. Like that's the thing. Like you know what to do, but then we forget, right? The other thing that is happening here is I have a dark line on the edge of the model's nose. There is no dark line there, right? So that's making that nose look bigger. So I need to erase that out and focus more on the shadow near the nostril. If you have a follow-up to that, Kim, let me know if that didn't answer your question. I mean, there's more to it than that. Like when I say, like, let's say in a figure drawing class, Kim, Yeah, in a figure drawing class, I tell the students, like, there's an analogy. So this photographer, this is from Graphit Studio. They always like to have two light sources. Sometimes the light sources are equally powerful, and others, like, one light is a little closer to the model, the other light is a little further away. So basically, there's a light coming in and hitting. You see the highlights here, where the point of my pencil is. There's highlights. So that's a little bit more form light is coming down and hitting this side of the face. But then if you look at the model's arm, there's another light on the opposite side there. So there's basically two light sources. The more powerful one, you look at the highlights on the nose and you look at the highlights on the cheekbone. So yeah, the side of the lip looks a little low. So I think what I'm struggling with here is this nose and the size of the nose. So I'm just going to work on the nose a wee bit and just maybe suggest the nostril for placement. Yep. And tip of the nose right there. And then also look at the top of the lip to the bottom of the lid lash cast shadow. That distance is not far at all. Okay, so this tapers down. I'm going to raise this and go across with a line of action. So yeah, like, when back to what I was saying, I just interrupted myself with my thoughts. It's that when you're trying to fit the head on a figure, when you're drawing the head, you don't just look at the head, you look at the entire figure periodically as you're drawing the head. And it's kind of like when you look up at the sky, you're not looking at one star, you're looking at all of the stars at one time. So that's kind of the analogy that I like to suggest. So I'm just putting in a little bit of tone here. I don't think this is going to make much of a difference, but I'm going to come in, come out. I'm raising the chin. Okie dokie. And let's just put a little bit more tone over here. So I'm really, really working the left side of the drawing. 1 second. And the light that's coming, the more powerful light for sure, Omar, is definitely is definitely stronger. Corner of the lip. I just raised that a little bit more, Paul. I hope that worked. Cast shadow that the lower lip is casting on that chin. Then there's like a little top plane over there of the chin, and then there's the side plane shadow. So I need to wrap this around the chin. Okay. We're getting there, people. We're getting there. It's a slow go today. It's a slow go, but we're fighting the good fight. Okay, let's work on this eyebrow. I'm going to raise it. Okay, I need to use my eraser and clean this up. You got it, Paul. Thank you for joining today. It's going to fight me the whole way. It's going to fight me the whole way. Now, there's a mindset issue, too, that you've got to be fully aware of. And I'm fully aware of it. I'm just being hard on myself here today. And that is that, you know, be careful how you speak to yourself. Like if I keep saying the whole stream, oh, I'm struggling. Oh, I'm struggling. Well, yeah, I'm going to struggle for sure. That, you know, it's going to become like a self-fulfilling prophecy. But after a while, you know, my eye-hand coordination, it'll start to come back and things will start to flow like a little bit more. You need to give yourself like that grace period in the beginning of your drawing time if you haven't drawn, because I know not everyone does this for a living, and people do this for like fun, for like a hobby. And so you don't draw every single day, and maybe you draw twice a week or scattered. And so when you first start to draw, it's just going to be tough, especially if like a week has passed and you've done nothing. Remember, I would honestly contend that most, not all, but most of drawing is eye-hand coordination. So I could honestly say that it's like 60% eye-hand coordination and your touch, and the other 40% is your knowledge. Because if you have all this knowledge, oh, like I know what to do, I know how to shade, I know about the anatomy, I know about the eyes and the shadows and the light, but if I haven't picked up a pencil in like a couple of weeks, well, it doesn't matter what I know. My eye-hand coordination is just not going to work. Okay, and I need to reshow. Oh, yeah, a drink. That would be nice. We are getting there. She's a little, I think I've drawn the portrait too wide. So let's see if we can adjust using the mono zero. And I shouldn't have pressed down that hard there, but it is what it is. Let's keep going. Gonna move over the jaw. Starting over is not the worst thing. So here's how I would go about starting over. I would stick with this for as long as you could tolerate it, because I know, you know, all of us, you, me, everybody on the live stream, our ego gets in the way and we're like, oh God, this isn't looking good. I need to start over. And it's an ego thing. So, but what you need to do is you just need to jot down notes, like literally on the drawing that you don't like, that you're not satisfied with. Write down notes like, oh, I drew the nose too big, or the model's face was like too wide. And then actually keep that out next to you, like when you draw the new one. So it's almost like your roadmap of what not to do. So if you start over, don't just rip the other one up and throw it in the garbage. Keep it out, and consciously like look at it and be like, okay, yeah, oh damn, right, I need to draw. I drew the eyes too far apart, or the nose was actually too small. It wasn't too big. It was actually too small. And just that would be really helpful if you're going to start over, because then your first drawing is just kind of like a study. Where are we? You got it. You got it. So now I'm going to start using my paintbrush soon just to smudge everything. But I just want to go a little darker with this eye. And I don't want to concern myself too much with the details of the eye. I'm looking for more of the abstract shape. So I'm not squinting, but you could squint. And sometimes that just takes the details away. And then you just kind of like look at the raw shapes. They're a little out of focus, but that's like a good thing. Now, just going like a little darker with this eye is very helpful. Okay, let's see. And my God, this nose. Okay, so let's look at the nostril. It's here. Maybe the reason the head looks wide is because her lips are too low compared to her nose, so there's less surface on for her chin. Okay. I'll thank you. Let me see. Let me see. So it's probably that because you've got a different view and you're not so like connected to it. So it's probably that. I appreciate the feedback, MagRocks15. Okay, so yep, maybe we'll lift up these lips. She does have pretty full upper lip. Oh yeah, I can tell that's helping already. Thank you so much, MagRocks15. Um, awesome. I still have a shitload of work to do. I shouldn't have cursed. Okay, I still have a poop load of work to do. um, and a little darker on this side of the upper eyelid. So this eye is just a oval. The eyelid a little darker over here as well. Okay, this nose it's I'm going to lift this up. Lift up. Okay, and maybe I need to do a little shading on the top of the head. How are we doing here? Okay, you know what I want to do? I just want to take a quick 2-second pause. I want to back up. I haven't backed up from this just once. I want to look at it on my video monitor. Hold on. Okay, so I want to angle this. I'm going to make this darker. How far away is the corner of the lip to the bottom of the eye? Okay, yes, it's brush time. So for those of you who haven't joined me here before on my live stream, I usually use a Bristol brush, like a cheap canvas Bristol style brush, to push the pencil into the paper. You can have different sizes. And what this does is it makes the drawing process with this particular pencil go by a hell of a lot faster. And what it also does is it creates a softer atmospheric look. What it also does is it pushes the pencil into the tooth of the paper. So you kind of start to get rid of those little white specks when I'm not 100% against a blending stump. Just sometimes they can be like a little aggressive at this stage of the game. And what this also does is it takes a layer of pencil off of the paper. That's why the brush is so black, because the pencil is coming off of the paper onto the brush. Plus, I painted my whole entire life, so I tend to draw a little bit more like a painter on these live streams. I don't draw this way when I'm in the classroom with my animation students. That's pretty much all line and very, very minimal tone. So now what we're really just doing here is we're being a little bit more impressionistic. And then what is also beautiful about doing this is then you could come back in and use the mono zero and then really draw by pulling out the lights. So for instance, like over here. Now, what I also need to do, what I haven't done, is I haven't done the front plane shadow. Hold on. Hold on, people. So I like to get rid of my eraser crumbs with this thing. Hold on, I want to look at this from far away. Okay. So we're going to do major surgery here. I did press down pretty hard on the pencil here, so that erased out pretty nice. Good, good. And then I'm going to move this lip, because this lip, it's weird how I'm seeing this so much better on the video screen and not on my actual photo reference. Okay. Let's see. I wanted to put some tone here before I got distracted. Beautiful pin straight blonde hair. Let's come on down. Could have been a little neater with that. And I'm going to raise the forehead a touch. I need a little bit more pencil down on the paper before I start to blend this. And then it gradates to the blonde. This is below the eyebrow right here where it gets a little darker on this side part. Down to the ear. Earlobe angles down like that. And then it goes across. All right, so we've been at this for about an hour. And I'm going to take a bathroom break soon. I just want to do like a little bit more here. I want to raise this. Just more of a stretch break than a bathroom break. Um, don't be afraid to press down hard. When we come back from our little break, I'm going to draw a little bit more with the eraser. You can also put some pencil down with the brush because there's residual pencil on the brush. Yeah, there's so much we need to do with this drawing. My God, this needs to be like a 5-hour drawing, not like 2. But we're gonna do the best that we can. And most of what I'm doing here is gonna be adjusting, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. All right, so I'm gonna just take a quick little stretch break. I'll leave this up obviously, so you want to just draw. Any questions, pop them in there. I'll be back in like a minute. All right. Hopefully you didn't hear me blow my nose. I just forgot. I just really blew my nose. I've got some weird sinus thing going on. I never get sinus problems anymore, but okay. So let's keep going. This from here to here is too long, for sure. Um, a lot of little tweaks. Let me resharpen the pencil. I said I was going to start to draw with the eraser. I will. I just want to better. Okay, so Humdinger, is there a particle anatomy you would measure to be a key to the drawing? Part of anatomy, okay. So what you could do is like you could just take an area. I like this concept. Like whenever you look at, let's say you're in a life drawing class. Wow, it's 86 degrees already and it's only 11. And you look at the model, like sometimes I'll start to draw in an area that I find easy. Like it just looks easy for me. And I drew that and I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I got that. That's easy. And you draw that section of the model's body, and then you use that as what I like to call home base. So for me, what I'm using as like my home base that I'm fairly comfortable with this model is this little area right here. I know that sounds like ridiculous, but it's like this is a little abstract tiny shape here of light on the cheekbone, and then there's the cast shadow that the eyelashes are casting. And so and then I'm also using this eye area. The glare in I'm making all excuses, but I suck today. It is what it is. But the other excuses is that there is so much glare that it's just that time of the year where I have so much sunlight coming into my studio that it reflects off of my iPad. And so I'm having a hard time seeing some information over here. But I hope I'm answering your asking. I hope I'm answering your question. It's that you pick one area that looks easy for you to draw. And that's your home base. And I'm just connecting with this eye. Like it feels like I understand this eye the most out of the entire drawing. And that little shape right there. And so everything, I'm going to compare a lot of things to that. So with that being said, I should try to resolve this eye a little bit more. Maybe I'll build up a little bit of my confidence with the drawing, because a lot of this also is like a confidence thing. Yeah, this just goes right into the edge of the model's nose. Okay, now this side of the... So let me work on this eye a little bit. And this eyebrow is just... It's simple, but it's kicking my butt. A little better. And the forehead angles up, and then it severely angles like that. Perspective line of the top of the head. And a little bit of shading over here in the eye socket. Okay, good, good, good. Now, this part of the nose I'm noticing now is just too long, and that's what I think it was Mog Rocks, yes, mentioned that, and I think that's legit. Let's raise that. Are you going to change to Thursdays instead of Tuesdays, Rick? No. Once September rolls around and I'm back teaching at the School of Visual Arts, I want to, like everybody, I'm not a YouTube guru. I just draw on YouTube. Like there's so many people who are really good with YouTube and everything about it. And they say the worst day to put anything on YouTube is Monday. But I really I think I'm going to switch to Mondays for the live stream. And the reason for that is because I have my Zoom class for members of Drawing Tutorials Online every Tuesday. And to do the live stream and the Zoom class in one day, it's not that it's too much. It's that I want to work on the drawing a little bit longer after the live stream, and I never can do that because I have my Zoom class. So I want to do the live streams starting in September on Monday. And like I said, the reason for that is so I can spend time working on the drawing and I don't need to stop. Because like when I do it on Tuesday, like I do it from 10 to 12, And then I take a lunch break, and then I start to prep for my Zoom class. That starts at 2 for members of DTO. So I just think it would be better for me to not have them be on the same day. In the summer, I was supposed to do this live stream. I told members of my website that I was going to do it on Monday, and then the shit hit the fan on Monday, and I got distracted, and so I think I should maybe just look. Hopefully you're signed up to my email, and hopefully you have the bell notifications. And I'm gonna use the posts here on YouTube to post when I'm gonna. So it's probably gonna be next Monday. I'm going away the last week in June, so I won't do anything in June. Maybe the last week in June, I should say. So I'll let you know. Just be patient with me. Okay, so this is higher. We're getting there, people. So when I teach at the School of Visual Arts, I'm there on Wednesday all day teaching a 6-hour life drawing class to foundation drawing students. It's one of my favorite classes. And then I'm there on Thursday and Friday teaching 2 classes a day. So it's a grueling schedule. I do enjoy it. But at the end of the semester, it's like I'm done. Like I'm just done. Like it's a lot, and the train is just will destroy you. And then also some of the people on the train, human beings can be very annoying. They're watching like YouTube videos on their phone without earbuds, and it's like, really, do I really want to hear your video at like 7 a.m. in the morning? No, I do not. So that sort of stuff like really wears thin on you after like 2 semesters. So I really super duper like needed a break at the end. But yeah. Okay. Let's raise this. I think we're getting there. It's so not perfect. Let's see. The upper lip is very close to the nose. I'm in the process of raising the lips. And I think that suggestion was really beneficial. Thank you. If there's anything else that anyone sees, just let me know. I'm not going to be offended because can use all the help I can get here today. And shadow under the chin once again. Under the lower lip, I meant to say above the chin. And then this is the front plane of the chin, and I'm going to raise it. That helped. Now, what we need here is a little bit more edge clarification, and the chin is a little bit too long. It doesn't need to be the same identical height as the photo reference, but man, does that help me. Oops, when I do that. 3.5. Oh, you suck. Okay, yeah, I need to raise that. Totally. I just gave her the longest chin. Um, so sometimes you just have to understand it's not going to be perfect. Um, so maybe I'm 3 3/4, and that's going to be fine. Pressing down hard. Resharpening the pencil here. I should move over and just work on this a touch. Look at this width. Just back to the mono zero. I got to admit, this paper is holding up pretty good because I'm really abusing it. And then we have the underplane of the chin. Catching a little light. Little cleft of the chin right there. And this maybe could be slightly higher. Okay, let's see here. Her left eye. I'm just drawing a little bit here with the eraser. I'm just going to back up for a second. So this, I can't tell you, this is really great practice. Really good practice. Get me back into the swing of things. And I appreciate you drawing with me here today. It's a challenging view, to say the least. The nostrils are much closer. Side plane of the eyeball. Yeah, there's definitely also catches about from the direct light. Yeah, for sure. Like there's some cast shadow. I'm not quite sure of your exact question. Cast shadow also catches about from the direct light plus ambient light. So we have the light coming in, hitting the model's face this way, and it's also hitting the model's arm. And that light is coming in and bouncing into the shadow side of the face. But it's more that there's a secondary light source. Ah. Getting there slowly, very slowly. I'm probably, when I'm done with the live stream, I'm probably going to work on this a little bit more, just so I can. It's just I need the practice, and I really want to try to make it look like her. So it's probably going to take me longer than what I can handle here on the live stream today. But I'll try to go as long as I can. I think like the one part of the portrait I'm neglecting is put in tone here. So I just need to do some tone. This connects. Well, we're trying. We're really trying. Okay, this nostril is lower than that nostril because of the perspective. And we have, I've got to cut the mono zero eraser so I can draw that reflected light on the tip of the model's nose. I've got little bits of this mono zero eraser all over the floor sometimes when I don't vacuum. Okay, so right here, there's reflected light, highlight, highlight, gloss of the lip, surface plane shift, and some gloss of like little makeup. I think that's fine for now. I need more pencil down on the whole thing. Just trying to take the edge off some parts. And, oh, maybe a little bit more shadow here on the inside of the eye socket. That eye is really kicking my butt. Should be easier than this. And this is just like a little cylinder. And then that's our model's lid edge. How far away is that lid edge from the hair? A little bit more shadow on the eyelid. Blend this right into the eyebrow and underplane of the brow bone. A little bit more shadow underneath the eyebrow on the other side. Now I'm pressing down a little bit harder, build up that value. I think I want to put like a little bit of tone over here to give the optical illusion that she's taller. Let's see here, eyebrow, highlight. Top of the zygomatic bone. Front of the cheek. I overdid this over here because I want to pull out with the eraser. Just to get the ball of the mouth. Light pressure with the kneaded eraser. And a little highlight running down the mandible. Highlight on the highlights usually happen at surface plane shifts. I'm just being a little bit more stylized over here. This is classic pit of the neck. How are we doing out there, YouTube? We hanging in there? You getting bored? Should I stop this thing now? Members of DTO, this photo reference is on our Zoom class page. I should have mentioned that earlier. It would have been nice. Okay, let's pull out a little bit over here, just for fun. Strand of hair. Strand of hair. Awesome. Okay, so this, I'm gonna, oh, I think I need to move that over to the left, this shadow line. And I'm gonna move the SEM muscle over to the left. All right, thank you, James. Okay, so I'm gonna date myself. Like this brand went out of business in like 1977. So this thing is what I use to sharpen my coal erase, and I get a beautiful point. I don't use this in the classroom. I'm very frustrated with not using it in the classroom, but it's annoying. I can't have an electric sharpener in a classroom because students always sharpen it like when I'm talking, like they do it on purpose. But at home here, that's what I like to use is that Panasonic. I can't believe I'm saying the word Panasonic. It is so 1970s. But that thing rocks, that pencil sharpener. So let's see. In the classroom, well, hold on. I've got my bag still from the end of the semester underneath my other desk. Hold on. So in the classroom, I got my little pencil case from my microphone, believe it or not. I just use these. Okay, this one actually sucks. That's why it looks new. I used it once. But there's another one that it's not in here. I probably gave it away to a student. Sorry, but yeah, it kind of looks like this. And I use these in the classroom. And they do make a mess, for sure. So I try my very best to sharpen on a paper towel. So I get a different point. So in the classroom, like my point is so much shorter than here. It still works. Like I said, I'm drawing with line primarily in the classroom. So there's no need for me to have this like super sharp point for like rendering like a 3.5-inch head. I do have a drawing pad from the semester. Maybe I'll share it at the end. How are we doing? Okay. No, they do not make things the way that they used to. That and yeah, that pencil sharpener is amazing. It's really good. It's really good. That's all I can say. Just doing some strands of hair here. I don't know how relevant this is. She's really got thin, pin straight hair. Great model. Um, the jawbone, I'm not loving it. Everything just needs so much work, people. Like this is a 5 hour. This should be a 5 hour drawing, if not a 4 hour minimum, to really resolve it. For sure. Like there's so many things that need like so much work. So what I'll probably do is go maybe till 12 here on YouTube, and then take like a little break. It's very, very important to take a break, reset your eyes, come back to it. But I think for the live stream, it's fine. It's so not perfect. I get you. I get you. Yeah. I'm going to move this over still. Veiling versus graining versus the brush. I don't know what grain means. Explain that to me. Yeah, I guess that's a phrase that I never heard of, graining. Oh, this way you mean. Yeah, I can't. I can't. I used to draw that way. Like, I've said this story. So, okay. Um, I used to draw this way because when I was younger, I used to be into like road biking, and I wiped out and I broke my elbow. I didn't even know that I broke it. I was a young kid, like in my mid 20s, and I didn't even go to the freaking doctor. But I did break it. And so for like a year, I couldn't turn my. And so I drew like this. And then it took me forever to stop drawing by holding my pencil down like this. And I used to paint this way too. Um, so I just hold the pencil this way, and how I do this pretty much is, like I've trained myself to be able to do like a nice light touch like this, like I'm pressing down, holding the pencil normally. I didn't used to be able to do that, um, like yeah, I can't. It's just like I have to do it this way. And so basically everybody's different, right? So now I can make like a really nice gradation. That's not a nice gradation. I don't want to do a gradation, but I think you get my point. So yeah, I mean, you have to. Everybody goes through phases, and I don't like when. For me personally, like I I don't like when teachers in the past have told me how to hold my brush or my pencil. I think it's such like a personal thing. But again, you evolve and you switch and you change as you go for a multitude of reasons. Yeah, don't get me wrong. I used to be so different. Like I used to draw primarily with my mechanical pencil, and like with an HB lead and like a mechanical pencil like this, and I loved it. Like I drew like most of my 20s with that thing, um, which the teacher saw me drawing with that, and they said, "Don't use that." And I'm like, you know what? F you, pal. This I think I was like 20 or 19. I was in college, and the teacher's like, "You can't draw with a mechanical pencil in my class." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm dropping your class. I love this thing." And I should have stayed. I should have listened to the teacher. I was such a jackass. It was the James McMullen classes, which Mike Matisse took James McMullen, I think, and I think was their like assistant or something like that. I don't know. I don't know the whole history, but it was in SVA back in the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, no, I wasn't going to give up my mechanical pencil. I was too stubborn. Live and learn, right? Like you've got to make your own mistakes. And like I'm a stubborn mother effer anyway. Like I'll do things to a fault. Like I'll stick with it because I think I'm sticking with it, and then sometimes I stick with something for too long and it hurts me, for sure. Okay, but that's enough of me. How are y'all doing out there? Yeah, anything that you see with this drawing that I could fix? I've tried to take your suggestions here today, and they're working for me. So thank you so much. You don't want the tone to hug the model's face so much either. Like there should be rhythm to the tone, right? And then maybe what I'll do now. This isn't going to be. I think it's fine as is. But I always like doing like an S curve of tone. So these are two different styles, right? So this sketch here was about 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. I forgot. Um, and it's pretty much linear. It's fresh. It's more of a demonstration style drawing. And this is more of like a tonal style. So I have those two styles dependent on the time that I have to draw. Any other questions, people? Let's see how many people are. Oh, we got 30 people on the stream. Thank you so much. Now listen to me. We have 32 people and we have 31 likes. Thank you. I appreciate you. If you're want to get notified when I go live, maybe because in the summertime, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to probably be a little sporadic with when I go live because I do have that flexibility. And when I teach in the fall semester and the spring semester, there's no flexibility. And so it's such a rigid schedule that I like the summertime for myself not to adhere to like basically my life is the train schedule when I teach. And then Monday and Tuesdays is when I'm home here. The rest of the week I'm in the city teaching. So I like the summer to like just be a little bit more flexible. But yeah, subscribe if you're not subscribed. I'll do the YouTube thing. Click on the bell notifications if you want to get notified. And I don't really like to promote anything on these live streams, but I do have a link in the more information to my website, if you want to join for 3 months for a one-time fee and no subscription, you could click on that. It's pretty inexpensive. And what you get for those 3 months is you get access to the summer class that I'm teaching. You get access to every tutorial that I have on my website. You also get access to video critiques every single week by me on Mondays. For that price, it's insanely valuable, inexpensive. So take a look at that. That's my little self-promotion. Okay, that's enough of that. All right, so how we doing, people? We okay? It needs so much work, so much work. I gotta admit, I'm a little slow right now. Hold on. Okay. They do like look like long apostrophes. You mean on her or on my drawing? Because this is very valuable for me. That mag rocks. Please tell me. Um, is it you mean on her on the photo or on my drawing here? Did I make the nostrils too long? Because I'd love to fix that if that's the case. Yeah, they do look like apostrophes. I mean, it's looking up at it. It's not a flattering view for the nose. And so you just don't want to, like the reference, hers are more longer. Yeah, so, okay, so this is where you have to use your artistic license. And what I teach my students all the time is that just because it's there doesn't mean you need to copy it exactly. And so I always change things. And I learned this from illustrating books. Like on a young girl, this is more of a woman, but on like a woman and a young girl, like I'm never gonna go really dark over here. I'm never gonna go really dark over there. That's just what I do. I'm never gonna make the nostrils black. I'm gonna make them more like a dark midtone or a midtone because I really don't want to draw attention to them. So I want to make all of that like a little bit less contrasty. So in this particular case, like the eyes, I'll make them dark all day long. But with the nose, I don't really want to draw attention to the nostrils. I kind of want them there, but not there. So I'm going to make them like a little bit softer. I'm going to make them a little less dark, contrasty. Um, but that's just me. Like everybody's going to have like their own thing. A little dark over here on the edge of the lower lip. See, I'm holding my pencil this way because just want to put a little tone here. Yeah, I got to work on this for longer. It's really good practice for me to do this because I haven't done a long drawing in a while. So I'm holding my pencil further back now because I don't want to smudge the face. Okay, good question. Hold on now. So let me use this little scrap piece of paper here. So pretty much, it's more of like a tilt of the iris. Can you see that? So let's say this is the iris, like they're tilting, and that would be the pupil. That would be the pupil. So there's like this axis that they should both be tilted at, and then like let's say it's a front view. and that's the pupil, and that's the iris. Hopefully you can see what I'm doing. It's that central line is going to be centered and in the middle and vertical. But if somebody's looking down, like their eyelids would be covering their eyes, and it's the axis of that, for sure. And the other thing that like really helps is looking, like these two eyes are looking at us, those two eyes are looking down. So it's that central line that helps. I hope that helped. Um, the bearded lady just sold for 4 million, I think, at Christie's. I've got a lot of bearded ladies. My mistake. um, yeah. So over here now, I'm going to try to do this by holding my pencil a little further back because the neck is very subtle. I also kind of want the drawing to fade off and not end abruptly. So I'm very okay with it being like a little bit more abstract. Um, this is too straight. It should be a curved line. I'll fuss with that after. Um, yeah. So I'm not going to do her eyes in detail right now in the live stream because I kind of want to do them after. I want to like zoom in on my iPad and really look. But they're tilted, right? I just zoomed in right now and they're totally tilted. Um, all right, let's say we got like 8 minutes left. Thank you, Kim. We'll work on this for like 8 more minutes in the live stream. And let's see here. It's this tilt right over here, Kim, of her eye here. It's angled, like it's like if you look at the black of my pencil extender, it's angled, and that eye, it's harder to see the other white, but it's this line, and then you look at the white of the eye. Well, I really want to thank all of you for joining me here today and watching me struggle through this. And sometimes that's just going to happen, and you don't want to beat yourself up over it. And yeah, you could start over. I really do think that you should employ that technique that I taught in the beginning of the live stream, where before you start the drawing, if you haven't drawn and you're rusty, just do a quick sketch of the model from the photo reference, and make mistakes and just try to be fast with it, and then jot down notes, like journal a little bit, like, oh, okay, as I'm doing this, I need to be aware that I made the face too wide, and the eyes, I made them level and they're not level. Like I really do think it's valuable for you to do like a warm-up drawing, like what we did or what I did before the stream. And yeah, this was fun for sure. So I can't tell you exactly what day I'm going to be on next week on YouTube. So just look, maybe click on the bell notification thing, or just look. I'll post it in the posts on my channel. And I'll also post this drawing up when it's done. I'm going to try to just chill today and work on this. You got it, Humdinger. Thank you so much, everybody, for hanging with me here today. It was a lot of fun, and I definitely got to get back into doing the streams. A little bit over here, and yeah, maybe a little bit more on this chin. Thank you from Brazil. I appreciate you watching. Must be really nice there, for sure. Hope you learned something from this. Key takeaways. Just stick with it. Sometimes you need to kind of work the drawing, and other times, like, the drawing just magically appears in front of your eyes. Like, oh, wow, I did that. But that's not going to happen every time. Thank you, Kim. Appreciate it. I still, yeah, we got to tweaking. But I'm happy with it so far. For it's been like basically an hour and 45 minutes. First long drawing in a long time. And 2 hours is not long. There are people on YouTube who spend like 50 hours on their drawing. And like, whoa, okay. Yeah, I really need a break from this to reset my eyes, and that's another key takeaway for everybody watching. That I think it's important not to sit down like forever and not get up. Like, this is a long period of time, me sitting down for an hour straight. I never do that anymore. It's just so hard on my body, and I think it's bad when you do that for just getting like a far away view of what your drawing looks like when you just sit down for an hour straight. I don't think that's good. All right, so I think that's all I got for you here today on YouTube. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and I'll give everyone a chance to say goodbye, because sometimes like there's a delay, for sure. And thank you for the likes. I really do appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. It was tough. It was tough, for sure. Let me just switch. I'll be able to like take it all in when I come back from lunch and just look at it with clean eyes. Gee whiz. Yeah, maybe I'll share this with you. There's just like maybe 4 pages in this. So let's see. Should I do it this way? Yeah. So this is a little bit more of how I would draw in the classroom. This was costume day, and so this is using the green color erase pencil, and it's just I was just doing a little study. This probably was like 15 minutes, but you can see that my style is completely different. It's just very much line, and this is very loose. Just time out for a second. I want to move my iPad. So yeah, here's my iPad, and there she is. She's a very cool model. Yeah, so I was just teaching the students here to edge clarification, because there was like this thick line on the edge of the model's top with this like little metal thing and these folds, and just drawing like these little shadow shapes with the folds, and full body over here, a line that separates, and just really the model is wearing a hood. And then we were also doing some of this like line of action and looking for the rhythm of the model in both of these with tone. that was a lot of fun too. And then this one was actually very challenging, the model laying down in that very tricky costume. And then back to figure drawing. So I just try to squeeze in like these little studies, for sure, like shape of hair, a little bit of the body, and that's some anatomical landmarks over here. That's just like really, really super duper good practice, and trying to do like a little bit more full body is also helpful. This is very light, but this is just all line, this little bit of line and tone. So yeah, that was my last 2 weeks at school. I had this pad. So all right. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. Dominican Flash, thank you. And Lucas, thank you. And I'll see you all next week, okay? Just look out for an announcement in the posts of my channel. And yep. Thank you, everybody. Awesome.